If you're trying to get someone to download this infographic that you made, well, then YouTube and these channels, that's not the right place. But if you just open up a new office in a new part of town or a new state, nobody knows who you are, and you're trying to generate some awareness, you can get a lot of impressions on these platforms for not a ton of money. And you can change the message out as quick as you can hit save on your computer. So it allows you to be nimble and flexible and really get a lot of impressions for not a ton of money. And if that's the goal of whatever your campaign is, these things make a lot of sense.
Hey there, welcome to the Dr. Marketing Tips Show. I am Jennifer.
And I'm Corey.
And today we're going to talk about what's old is new.
New again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so things are recycling and it's retro, and what you used to watch on TV is now popular again.
Well, it's funny because I remember when we started to get into all of these streamer things, and then all of the streaming competition started to come up, and there was an old joke that was going around that was like, well, all of these streamers should just get together and then we pay one price.
Now that's what's happening.
Right, and that's what's happening, and that's just cable. It's just the same thing. The channels just split, but now they're coming back together essentially. So there's these new bundles. They just announced, I think it was last week, where you can get like Apple TV and Max and I think Disney Plus and Hulu or whatever. They're all going to offer under Comcast as a bundle, which is just cable. Yeah. So it's all just cyclical.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, we're having this discussion because Nielsen ratings, which is the old TV ratings, came out a couple weeks ago. Nope, they just recycled. Mm-hmm. Came out a couple weeks ago with their first quarter numbers of popular streaming services, and they said as of March 2024 that YouTube, particularly YouTube Shorts, has surpassed. It's the #1 streaming service on TVs, and it has surpassed Netflix, Hulu, and Prime TV, making it #1. And so what that tells me is people like me, upper middle-aged women, laying in bed at night watching YouTube, recycling, and it's just the way things are, and it's different than it used to be. And then on top of it, another report came out this past week, and it was talking about Netflix. And it said Netflix in their ad-supported network, which is how Netflix is now getting ready to make money. Right. Because after they got rid of all the passwords and did a reset, their shares kind of went down. And so Netflix and their ad-supported network is seeing 40 million active users monthly right now. And they're seeing that grow. And so what does that tell you? It tells you whether it's on YouTube, honestly, whether it's on TikTok, whatever video delivery service, and now on Netflix and all the others, you need to dust off those old TV commercials because there's real opportunities to market directly to people watching TV.
Yeah, if you remember when Hulu came out, their whole thing, they launched with an ad-supported tier, and people kind of sneered at them. Right. And now all these other networks are essentially going, oh, wait, well, I kind of tapped out on the people that don't want that, but if I open up a lower cost tier that has ads, I can grow membership or subscribers.
That's what we're seeing. Which
just means that people are going to watch TV ads again. So they never actually went away, they're just changing.
You know what I find interesting too, because I do watch so much YouTube, especially right now. I bought a new camper. I'm trying to learn things about the camper, so I'm watching all these videos about this particular camper. And I find that the commercials on YouTube are very different than the commercials on main cable TV.
Yeah.
So I get my local channels on my cable, and those commercials are just kind of generic. But the ones on YouTube, they press the envelope just a little bit, and they try to go maybe they don't have the same regulatory environment, but you can do a little bit more on streaming services than you can on regular cable.
Well, and also I think they're a little more targeted. I think
very much so.
Yeah, if you just turn on Channel 6 News or whatever, it's a little bit of a shotgun approach, right? Because it's just whoever is trying to advertise in that day and time frame, they buy that date, that time slot, and they're going to put your ad there. On YouTube, they know how old you are. They know that you just bought this camper, so that means you're interested in traveling. And if you're interested in traveling, you may want this mug. And so you get served a specific thing.
So what does it say? That I watch the evening news before Jeopardy, and all I get are ads for
Metamucil?
Diapers, adult diapers, and drugs. Mm-hmm. And on YouTube, I get ads for full body deodorant.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
But which one are you more likely to purchase?
The Metamucil.
But the idea is the streaming services, because of the power of the connected services and the internet and everything.
Well, that's it. It's the connected services.
Right. So the idea is, okay, so, and you can do this at your practice too. You have a specific service, so that, let's say you're an orthopedic practice. You can then go to YouTube or Netflix or Hulu, and you can say, okay, I want to reach this particular age group in this zip code that's around my office who has these interests. And you can set that up, and for under like $500, let's say, you can have a campaign up and running that's on Hulu in front of the right people. And you can even enable that with a QR code that they can scan, or you can use an old TV commercial you've already got, or you can shoot something new. And within a day, you could have that up and running. Whereas, a couple years ago, and even now, depending on the station, there's a lot more red tape to go through. There's a lot more hullabaloo, we'll call it. There's just so many things you have to do, and you can just pull up a computer, do it yourself, and then you have a Hulu ad running, and you get better stats.
Well, you could use the data to make adjustments to your ads to see what's working or not. Yeah. And if you've been investing in video for years, like we've been encouraging you to, then you should have enough B-roll that you could start pulling things together to see what's going to resonate with your audience and what doesn't. You almost could be doing this in-house without making a big deal of it. And we used to do it a couple years ago where we would get local cable, and they would say, look, because we're digital, you can break it into major neighborhood zip codes and you can test things out. And we would get it all the time, so I'd have docs calling me and being like, why is my competitor advertising? How much money are they spending? I'm like, probably not that much, doc, and it's only gonna be for a couple weeks until we see it. But you can do that, and if you have your commercials ready to rock and roll, pick your platforms, you use their ad-supported networks, put your stuff up there when you need patients. When you don't, take them down.
Yeah, and it also enables you to do some different things. So let's say you don't have a ton of video content. YouTube has an option where they're called bumper ads, and they're 6 seconds. You cannot skip them. They only show up on certain videos. But oftentimes what people use those for is you'll see a little bit of B-roll and then branded logo with the tagline, and that's it.
That's it.
So you can put that together pretty quick. I mean, that's something you could open up Canva on your computer. You can cut something together in 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then you've got your bumper ad. You can get it up there by the end of the day.
Yeah, and you can test it out. So maybe you have a new doctor starting, or you have a new walk-in clinic or something that you want to make a push for. Maybe you want to go as far as having your own studio content. We have a lot of it where we'll have a practice do like TV for the local. They talk about a procedure and then they run that as an ad. And you can do that in a 1 minute or less. You can have a short version, expanded version. I mean, there's so many things you can do. It's just, I almost liken it to social. There's so much that you can do where you got to pay to be on social, but you also could just pay to be on these streaming networks. Maybe it's not an interactive avenue, but at the same time, you're getting people in their kind of passive states.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, like what are you trying to do? If you're trying to get someone to download this infographic that you made, well, then YouTube and these channels, that's not the right place. But if you just open up a new office in a new part of town or a new state, nobody knows who you are, and you're trying to generate some awareness, you can get a lot of impressions on these platforms for not a ton of money. And you can change the message out as quick as you can hit save on your computer. So it allows you to be nimble and flexible and really get a lot of impressions for not a ton of money. And if that's the goal of whatever your campaign is, these things make a lot of sense.
That's right. And I think you have a case study with a practice that you've been working with that's done some of these like targeted digital channels, and you've had some success, right?
Yeah, so they are trying to grow name recognition in an area where they've got about half a dozen clinics. And so what we're doing is we're just essentially saying that you can see a specialist same day, next day. There's immediate availability. And we've been doing this for 30 plus years, even though we're new to your area. That's sort of the crux of the whole thing. We're doing YouTube, we're doing the bumper ads, and then we're also doing what's called skippable ads, which are the ones that you'll see kind of like in the middle of a video, and it'll start playing, and it'll play for, I think it's like 5 or 6 seconds, and then you can choose to skip it, or you can watch the whole thing. Our spots are 30 seconds. You can skip them after 5 or 6 seconds. And we've been doing that for a little bit over a week, and we're actually at over 150,000 impressions so far for right around $1,400 or so.
Great.
Yeah, and so what we're seeing is we've also got that tied to the clinics that are in that area. So we know that they've seen a small uptick in patients since we've started this. Everything else is the same, so we can sort of attribute that apples to apples and say we started this, now you have more patients, therefore this has been working, and then we'll iterate from there. But yeah, I mean it's worked really well. It was easy to do, easy to set up. Once we had the creative, it was just a matter of setting up the campaign, and that can be done in under an hour.
Yeah, it's just the evolution of TV. And
exactly.
How it's evolved over the years. We didn't used to have this level of data and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that this came back around, right? It's just because it works. I mean, people, as you're sitting there, you're consuming media. Now you're not doing it maybe in your living room on a big screen TV. Maybe you're doing it at the airport on your phone. But you're basically doing the same thing, and you're still getting interrupted because we're all used to watching something and then being interrupted by it.
It's very familiar.
Right, and so years ago, there was this whole conversation that this type of ad-supported media was dead, and you needed to have native content, and it needed to be in line and look like real articles and really feature value. And those things still matter depending on what you're trying to do. But it's just funny that this has now come all the way back around, and it's just TV ads again.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's just retro TV ads, and we're all used to it, and we're comfortable with it, and they absolutely do.
They work. Yeah.
All right, so with that, I'm Jennifer.
I'm Corey.
We'll see you next time on the Dr. Marketing Tips Show. Thanks a bunch.
Bye, guys.
If you want more like this, hit like and subscribe so you'll always be alerted to new episodes when they come out. And if you want information about us, visit us over at insightmg.com. That's insightmg.com. We'll see you on the next episode.